Please like, share and subscribe. He rose to retrieve 2 glasses while Veronica reached for her phone. 29 unread messages, including Grant checking that she'd eaten, plus her campaign manager confirming tomorrow's press availabilities. She silenced notifications. The screen's reflection caught the curve of Malcolm's back as he poured bourbon, a tableau of 2 aspirants plotting futures destined to collide. She slipped from the bed, draped a robe over shoulders still thrumming, and accepted the drink he offered. They perched at the window, Wilmington's skyline glittering like fallen constellations. Below, somewhere, supporters pinned signs, volunteers stapled flyers, and opposition researchers scoured for dirt. None knew that the brightest scandal simmered 19 floors above, dressed in hotel linen and whispered promises. Veronica sipped, savoring the burn. "How does it end, Reyes?" "With a landslide," he said without hesitation. "Which of us?" He touched his glass to hers. "The one who wants it most." Veronica's answering smile held steel and longing in equal measure. "Then we have a problem, Senator." Outside, sirens wailed, a reminder of a restless city, and inside 2 rivals stood toe-to-toe, locked in a dance that was half seduction, half war. They had 33 minutes left before staffers knocked. 33 minutes to test how much desire could coexist with ruthless ambition. Veronica tipped her glass, heat rolling down her throat. "Back to bed, Malcolm. Democracy can wait a little longer." By morning, Wilmington pulsed with campaign frenzy. TV vans lined the Union Square Civic Center, cables snaked across sidewalks, and a sea of red, white, and blue signs bore competing slogans. Veronica arrived with her team precisely at 7:40 a.m., tailored in a crisp charcoal pantsuit that belied the firestorm still smoldering in her chest. The late-night rendezvous with Malcolm had left an afterglow that perfume couldn't mask, an ache not of regret, but of something deeper, hungrier, and dangerously close to belief. On stage, the optics were perfection. She shook hands, smiled with educators, delivered a speech framed around restoring dignity to public schools. Her voice was steady, even when Malcolm walked onto the platform to deliver his address 10 minutes later. He wore his signature flag pin, smiled that campaign smile, but their eyes locked for a beat too long. Was a flicker of intimacy that didn't belong under the Klieg lights. She caught it. So did a photographer from the Atlantic. Later, in the campaign bus, Veronica stared at the preview image emailed by her communications director. "There's a softness here we don't want, V. You look tender. You look like you know him. Get ahead of it." Mara, her press lead. Veronica cursed under her breath. One photo, one unintended glance, could spawn 1,000 rumors. Not yet a scandal, but a headline in the making. She typed back. "Understood. Set up a photo op with Grant this week. Somewhere public, something warm." Her husband, Grant Hale, was a high-powered environmental lawyer, a man who'd once backpacked the Andes and had the forearms to prove it. He supported her campaign fiercely, even if her ambition sometimes iced the warmth between them. He was good at optics, kiss on the cheek, hand on waist kind of good. She would use that. She had to. But optics couldn't mend the fracture within her. 'Cause last night something had shifted. It wasn't just sex. It was the way Malcolm had held her after, quiet and absent of strategy. It was the press of his lips to her forehead when she pretended to sleep. She'd felt adored. And that was more dangerous than the affair itself. The next secret meeting came in Richmond, a week later. A mayoral endorsement forum gave both candidates an excuse to be in town. By now, they'd perfected the art of feigned aloofness. In public, they disagreed like professionals. Behind closed doors, they made each other forget policy positions entirely. This time, the room was a nondescript Airbnb. Neutral decor, fewer risks. She arrived just after midnight, having dismissed her aides with a claim of exhaustion. Malcolm opened the door already barefoot, shirt unbuttoned halfway, eyes shadowed with weeks of fatigue. "You look like hell," she said. "You look like sin," he replied, drawing her in by the wrist. They didn't waste time. Her coat hit the floor. His mouth was on hers before she could answer. She welcomed the assault. Heat, kneed, teeth scraping her collarbone like he was trying to brand her. The roughness of it thrilled her. A reminder that their connection wasn't dainty or delicate. It was a battlefield. She yanked his belt loose, fingers trembling with hunger. He lifted her against the wall, pressed her hips to his, and made her gasp into his shoulder. The sound undid him. He carried her to the bed like a trophy, lowered her slowly, and kissed every inch of her like he was memorizing a territory he might soon lose. Their bodies collided with abandon. Her hands dug into his back. His name broke from her lips, choked and urgent. He filled her like it was a promise, like every thrust was a vote cast for surrender. Her climax crashed through her like a live wire. When he followed, he collapsed onto her chest and whispered what he hadn't dared say aloud. "I don't want to stop this." Silence. Her heart thudded under his ear. "You know we have to," she murmured. "But do we?" Veronica stared at the ceiling, breath shallow. "What are you saying?" "That I think about more than your body." He sat up, propped on an elbow. "I think about what it would be like if this wasn't hidden. If we weren't just opponents with hotel keys." She turned to face him, brows drawn. "You're married, Malcolm. So are you. And you want to blow up 2 marriages. 2 campaigns. For what hope?" "No. For the truth." Veronica sat up, naked but armored. "The truth is, we're great together when no one's watching. But out there." She pointed to the curtained window. "We are liabilities." "Can't be a liability. Not now." He looked at her for a long time, then nodded slowly. "One more time," he said. "Tonight. Let's not lie to ourselves about wanting it." Veronica closed the distance, straddled him, pressed her lips to his in silent agreement. What followed wasn't frantic. It was reverent. They moved slowly this time, savoring each gasp and moan, every shift of hips and hand. When they finished, she didn't leave the bed. She curled into his arms, let him breathe into her hair, let herself pretend they were just lovers with no stakes. But by dawn the mask returned. The next scandal didn't come from the bedroom. Came from an anonymous tip. A political blog posted a grainy photo of them entering the same Richmond Airbnb. Hours apart but within proximity. No proof, just a question. Why are Reyes and Hale always in the same cities, same blocks, same hotels? The comments exploded. "They're probably fucking. You want to win this election." "Yes. Then clean it up." And with that, her marriage became another campaign issue. Something to manage, something to leverage. Dicks again. A week later, her team released staged photos of her and Grant volunteering at a children's shelter. She kissed his cheek on camera. He smiled like a saint. The press moved on mostly. But that night her phone buzzed. "Malcolm, I'm dropping out." She'd sacrificed too much, buried too much to walk away now. She had power within her reach, and the memory of Malcolm between her thighs and in her veins.